CultureCon Sioux Falls 2019. You all are going to be presenting and driving home that information, which we're super excited for. What excites you about CultureCon and getting a hold of those folks this year?
Bringing everybody together, unified around the important topic of culture.
Yeah.
That is the exciting thing. Just the energy that will be in the room, and those folks are there to make a difference in their workplaces, no matter what level. Like you speak, Jen, you lead at any level that you're in, and that's exciting because I do think, back to your point, Vani, I do think it changes community. Mm-hmm. When we're doing workplace right, people leave and they go out into the community and they help do community right. Mm-hmm. Because we're in the workplace a boatload of our week, and our career well-being has everything to do with well-being outside of the workplace.
Yeah.
So the energy, I'm looking forward to the energy unifying around the topic.
Yeah.
Speaks to me of possibility. I mean, what's possible if when we start to really focus on some of these things, some of these soft skills and some of these characteristics and values that we have? What's possible when we put those things to work?
Well, and the power behind the possibility, right? So I'm excited just to continue to make that push on the flywheel, mm-hmm. right? To continue the momentum so that we together have an even stronger presence to tell the story of how each of us can impact culture within our own families, within our own teams, and how that really leads up as an organizational leader. People feel culture. You know when you walk in somewhere, it doesn't have to be the brightest or the shiniest if it doesn't match the feeling you get from the people. And so I think connecting the hearts and minds of the individuals that'll be in that group, passion persuades people. And how fun is that we get to be a part of it?
Yeah. Well, the other thing that's probably sticking out for folks here is that you are all women. Now, that wasn't all that weird for me because I happen to be intimate with how badass you all are. But but this is not necessarily something that happens all the time when you go to a lot of these conferences, especially single track, to be able to have that. Now, in our personal experience, what we found is, as people who are always working in culture, that women in particular seem to get it. I don't know if that's across the board, but what does that mean for you, or does it mean anything to you in regards to that?
Well, it's exciting because we're pulling the future forward.
Yeah.
Right? This is the next practice. Mm-hmm. And to say that I was a part of that win mm-hmm. with this group right here, I don't even know that I have the words to use for that, but pretty powerful and something that hopefully stirs the souls enough to cause action in this movement.
I like that you called me badass. I might need a t-shirt.
Yeah, right.
Kira badass. I do like that. You know, I've been reflecting a lot about women's leadership, and especially in the space of culture, because when I have these conversations out in the marketplace and in the community, I really do find a lot of women stepping into this and wanting to take a leadership role in it. And we're good community builders, we're good nurturers, we definitely share our passion, I think a little bit more on our sleeves. And when you're building culture, that's really important. It's important to put yourself out there and to be okay with being expressive and passionate as drivers of relationship, because culture is also relationship. How we care about each other as a team, through good times, through hard times, and I think we do a good job about that as women. Not that men don't, but I do think that the nurturing aspect of it, there might be something there. What do you ladies think?
I agree too. I think that we're moving to a connection economy. Mm-hmm. And I think women we've got those skills. And I think that we've practiced those skills, and so it's inherent to us. So yeah, connection I think is where it's at.
Well, I think just by the nature of what has happened in this world, where only now are, different groups getting a seat at the table, mm-hmm. we've been out of balance. It's not that these things don't have value, it's just it's skewed too far that way. And I think the balance of having, that compassion and that nurture, that insight, those type of things is what is desperately needed. in the organization right now, and I think women are just really well positioned to help fill that particular space of it. But again, this is not for optics' sakes. You guys are all great at the things that you do, which is why I'm really excited to see and hear what you all are going to do. So, what is something that you're excited to share at CultureCon this year?
The power of the pursuit, and to remember that trailblazers have scars. We can't just get there. There may be pain, there may be great pleasure, but along the way, continue to pull yourself back up, be courageous each and every day to say it's worth it. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, I'm saying it's going to be worth it. And so to remind yourself of that when you're having to have the difficult conversations, or to be able to be true to what we say our values are and hold someone accountable. It's the everyday behaviors in the pursuit of creating the culture you desire, and that deliberate intention has to be tracked down so we can make it happen, so it's not so soft and fluffy, but that it's a no kidding competency towards the connection economy, right? I love that. I love that. And I would invite, I'm guessing you have a few of your own trailblazer scars. We all do. And it's okay being vulnerable and telling those stories too. So probably a long answer to your question, but I'm just really excited for the power of what's going to come together.
No, we want it all. Give it all.
I think highlighting the discipline that this takes and being real about it. This is not just fluffy business, to use your word. It's not just the yoga mats and the beanbag chairs. I mean, this is really intentional, purposeful, knowing our why, about why we're investing in culture, and then keeping our eye on it. Don't let it get to the back burner, because if it does, it's just going to get away from you. And when it gets away from you, it's going to get away from your employee engagement, your recruitment opportunities. So I really want to share the discipline and describe what that looks like, and share what our challenges are with keeping our eye on it.
I'm looking forward to sharing more about what does it look like if we bring our hearts back into leadership, where we can drop the ego and the armor and all of that and say, I am going to lead with courage. Because when I lead with courage and go first, vulnerability, right, that people will respond to that. There are things not happening in organizations because there isn't courage in leadership. So I'm going to help break those down a little bit and hopefully have our attendees identify, that's happening in my organization. And so how do we become brave leaders? Because if we don't have brave leaders, we don't have courageous cultures. And so what are the things that we can do? So part of what I'm going to teach is courage is measurable and observable and teachable. And so I'm going to teach you 4 things that you can build courage skills with. So that's what I'm excited about.
Yes. And we, of course, have the tough task of following you all. But, one of the things that we really wanted to do this year, that we wanted to evolve from last year, is really having an opportunity to work with people a little bit deeper. That's really what we do, is more interactive and that type of thing. And we want people to, and that's why we really promoted teams a lot and people coming with their tables, and why we went to single track is because we wanted people to be able to come have a shared experience, to be able to say, man, this really stuck out to me, or this really felt good to me. How can we start working on this? And we have a concept we call paint a wall, which is, you give somebody a paintbrush and paint, and they may or may not paint. But if you can get them to paint a wall, if you can get them to get started, they'll likely finish. And the big thing for us is a lot of times when you leave these conferences, you go back to your office, you get back into your inbox, and everything goes back out the window and you're back into the grind of it. And we really, really want to help people focus on working on some things there. So when you get back to the office, you already got the meeting plan, you already got the follow-up steps, and you're ready to do the thing. It's really about action. Knowledge is important, but not as important as applied knowledge.
Well, learning without application means nothing, right?
Right.
So let's find ways to help support each other, hold us up when we do become vulnerable, and know that we'll drive to that greater why of creating a culture we desire.
Let's do some stuff. October 29th, CultureCon, Sioux Falls 2019. it is going down. We have you amazing folks to help us with that. Thank you so very much for this conversation. Thank you so very much for being a part of CultureCon, and we can't wait to see you all there as well.